Greetings, blessed beloveds. So I thought I'd play with this cute little filter today. So it's Sunday and I was literally just chilling, and I thought to myself, while I'm just browsing, let me tap onto YouTube and find something to listen to. So just scrolling on YouTube, start listening to Muji, start listening to other things, and I'm like, actually, someone was connecting to Muji, and instantly I could just feel sensations in my heart, and I was just like, whoa, okay, I know what I want to listen to now. I want to listen to something about awakening and opening the heart. So I YouTube that in, press search, and I'm just finding meditations, little sound healing things. I'm not finding any talks. So, when you can't find what you want, I feel like it's an opportunity and a calling to be that. Heart frequencies and heart healing is such a powerful part of this journey. It really, 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 truly is. And personally, in my journey, I would not be the way I am if it wasn't for heart healing. I'll tell you straight, if it wasn't for heart healing, I'd be a different person. And I feel like everybody, when you experience it, that's when you actually see and realize that before you had that heart awakening, you were living in the shadow of your true self, literally living in the shell of your true self. Because that's it, when your heart isn't open, or your heart has had some kind of damage to it, whether it be something that's happened to you in this life or even previous lives, or maybe something that's been passed down generationally, that causes you to just have this really closed shield around you that doesn't let anything or anyone in. We can only experience a fraction of life, a fraction of what this universe has to offer. That's all we get when we're closed. And the moment there is a situation, or there is a healing, or there is an epiphany that can crack that heart open, then the flood of universal love, universal healing, universal light comes through, and it hits that center point of your heart. And I swear to God, it's the richest sensation, it's the richest experience, heart healing. So I'm glad that I can just come on here and share these frequencies, because something that often happens to me is when I'm speaking about something, I can't help but feel it. I can't help but vibrate at that frequency. So as I'm talking about the heart cracking open and opening up, and floods of love just pouring through that space, I become that. And as I become that, there's a transmission, and you get to taste that for yourselves. And as you taste it, it just allows yourself to remember the cure. It allows yourselves to remember the blueprint of the frequency that you are, because we are all made out of love molecules, love vibrations, love frequencies. That's what we are made of and made from. And it's only through going through certain situations in life that we end up hardening up, we end up desensitizing, we end up becoming numb. One of the most powerful practices for me is just learning different ways where I can de-armor my body. De-armor meaning, how do I take this armor off? How do I drop my shield when I no longer am in the battlefield? These practices are they're very powerful, because they're not adding anything to you. They are merely stripping away the layers that have been built on top of the self. So then you can actually feel yourself, you can feel the truth of who you are, you can feel your core resonance. So these practices, I guess, they work in a similar way to psychedelics. So when you take the psychedelic, you're in a complete different state of consciousness. And if you are in a safe space, you'll find that naturally you'll start to feel the resonance of your own heart, the resonance of your own soul. You'll start to feel it will vibrate through you. And a lot of people, including myself, start to feel a sense of homecoming. Like, this is home, this is what it means to actually be here on earth, to be here in the present, to be here in the now. And it's all to do with the connection to the heart. And I find, like, just growing up in Western society, we don't realise, like, how much layers we have on. Whether it's having to put on layers from, like, having to go to work and having to be not your true self at work, or having to be not your true self around parents or school or education. The more we put on these masks where we're not actually expressing the truth of who we are, it almost suffocates the soul. It suffocates your soul expression. And even though we were born into certain places to kind of live out certain experiences, we are not our environments. And sometimes our environments really start to mark us and stain us. So the more we delve into these practices of stripping, of shedding, of releasing these layers that aren't us, it allows us to actually meet ourselves. And sometimes, like, psychedelics can be so powerful, and de-armoring practices and coming back into your body can be so powerful, because sometimes you realize that that self that you meet when you fully feel safe, you fully feel held, you fully feel able to just be. You haven't even experienced that self before, because you've been living a life where you've constantly been shutting down emotion, shutting down emotion, shutting down emotion. When you're shutting down emotion, we're just building blocks of stagnant energy in our bodies. And we're becoming like Iron Man, we're becoming stiff. We're getting physical arthritis, physical stiffness in the joints because of all these energetic blockages in our body. Our body was not made to be iron. It just wasn't. It wasn't made to be stiff. It was made to be supple and flexible. So the more we allow ourselves to shed the density of these memories that are held in the body, because sometimes we wake up and we're okay, and it only takes one little statement, one little funny look from someone to just bring us back into this dense vibration. And then what happened wasn't even that deep, but yet we're in a place, we're feeling some type of way. And that's because this situation has triggered all this density and all this wounding from all these past situations, even from situations that we don't even remember. There could be things that happened in your childhood when you were 3 and 4. Consciously, the mind just wipes so much. Your physical mind, conscious mind, will not give you access to certain memories and certain thoughts because they were too traumatic at the time for your brain to be able to integrate, and they were too traumatic at the time for your brain to be able to process. So guess what? Your body held on to that memory. And that's why you'll feel certain aches and pains and like twists and tensions in certain places of the body, because your body holds this genetic memory your body holds. So the more we actually explore these de-armoring practices and release these layers, we actually find and we feel what we've been carrying, the load that we've been carrying, we consciously allow ourselves to feel. And a lot of things, like, until you feel it, we can't heal it until we really feel the truth of what it is at the same time and frequency that we would have felt it in whenever it took place. That's when it can truly shift. Because I've done stuff myself where obviously I'm quite like an optimistic person. I always think like, okay, let's look on the bright side of life. So when certain situations happen, I kind of tend to think, oh, it's not that serious, it's not that deep, try and move forward. But obviously, truth of the matter is, there's a part of me that authentically is pissed the fuck off. There's a part of me that's pissed, but then there's also a part of me that's trying to keep it moving. But even though I'm going along to this like frequency that wants me to keep moving, there's also an authentic space that I have to hold with myself. I have to set a space, a sacred container for myself to feel whatever dense, raw emotion that has taken place. Because if I don't consciously feel that, I will subconsciously feel that same energy through other people, and then I'll blame them. That's why it's so important to be accountable for the energy that you feel in your body and just let it be. Like, we're all human. Like, we all feel frustration, anger, bitterness, jealousy, like, we feel it all. And the moment we can actually step forth in our humanity and start to hold the space compassionately for the whole picture of what life has to throw at us, and we're able to literally be in those emotions, raw, let those emotions out in a safe space. It's actually like the moment where I become pissed and I just let myself be in that energy, I end up coming out of it and just laughing at myself, because I can get like so wound up to my blood's boiling, be in it, and then just laugh at it, because it's just like frigging hell. You know, when you see like a toddler, 4-year-old, and they're getting so mad, but at the same time they're only little and they're only cute and they're only such source energy, so you just laugh. Literally, it just makes you laugh, and it brings a lightness to life when we allow ourselves to feel. Big up quartz-free water. Literally, so much agreement, so much resonance. Like, it's so easy, and like, I will put my hands up. Like, it is easy to get bloody caught up in the projections, and it's easy for like your mind just to sense something and be like, oh, what's this? Da 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 da. And when I'm in those moods, yeah, I get caught up in it, and it's only when I like come back and I'm like, oh my god, it's like I was out of control. What happened? And I find like, yo, hormones, fucking hell, hormones play a part. Literally, hormones play a part. The moon plays a part, and it's just interesting just to see, like, because some certain situations and certain parts of life, you'll find that emotions are just amplified. So let's say if you've got deadlines to meet and you're stressed, your emotions are instantly amplified because you're stressed. So it doesn't matter how little certain situations are, you're still going to feel them in a big way. And if you try and talk yourself out of feeling it because it is so little, guess what? The body holds on to it, because the body don't business. And half the time we're coming from the inner child anyway. So half the time it's the inner child that's having this reaction. And when we try and silence her or tell her to calm down, all it fucking does is suppress the emotion. That's all it does. So it's just so much better to just let the emotion out and just let it be. And I feel like sometimes when we learn conscious language, even if we are with somebody else, we have a conscious language that we can use, and we can easily say, you know what, I know it's not you, but right now I am just feeling so pissed and I might need to take 5. And even if you say it with energy, because you've said to that person, it's not you, I'm feeling this in my body, it just gives that person like, okay, fair enough, she said she's gone, she's over there. And that person doesn't need to take on that emotion because you've declared that it is yours. And I feel like that's so powerful, and just so much conscious conversation can just save so much damage that happens in relationships. Because relationships, imagine you're with somebody for the majority of your time, they're there. You can start to get on each other's nerves. Like, you can start feeling types of ways, and it's nothing to do with the other person. The other person is literally just mirroring the unhealed stuff that is within you. But sometimes it's easier to see something on the outside and the external. It's easier for that to get our attention than the things that are within us. Why? Again, the armor, the body is blocked up. So you can't feel your own stuff. You can only get pissed off and triggered at other people's. So once we have this perspective and this wisdom and this knowledge, when we start to go through certain situations and feel like we're really being triggered and tested by people around us, we can also come away and think, yo, why the fuck am I in this situation? Like, why? Like, why? And we can just do our work to just sit down with self and see what gems does this situation hold for me? Because if I took fast and put myself in this situation, or is this situation really got a lesson that that can help me evolve, that can help me become a deeper representation of my soul essence? Because a lot of the time, that's what life is. And when we can really see the beauty of what it is, it's almost like certain lessons that we don't need to have no more, because we've dropped certain mentalities that would have attracted those lessons to us in the first place. I swear to God, like, this life is such a beautiful, it is such a beautiful teacher. It really is. And it's always fucking mirrors and reflections. Like, it's always mirrors and reflections, because every day we wake up with a choice. We wake up with a choice to stay in bed an extra hour or to get up now. And within that small choice, that's changed the whole pattern of your whole entire day. Because now when you go outside, you're going to go into the shop at a different time. You're going to pass a different conversation than you would have if you would have stayed in bed that extra hour. Little decisions change our life big time. So we are constantly calling in different experiences based upon what we've decided and how we've decided to start our morning. 10 minutes of meditation. Now that's changed that's changed my internal world. That's changed how I'm going to react to people. That's changed how much tolerance I have. That's changed how much patience I have. Little tiny things like myself, like, okay, making a cup of cacao in the morning, sitting with myself, tapping into my body, dancing, moving. These little things are free. These little things are accessible to me. It just takes a choice to think, you know what, I'm going to start my day like this. Or, you know what, I'm going to listen to this podcast or that. There's so much little tiny things that we can do, that we do have the full power and control to access and have in our life. And the moment we start to just focus on, what is it that I want to call in, man? What is it that I want to experience? And we can be playful with it as well. Like, we can be as playful. We can just joke around with it. We can say, okay, I just want to smell beautiful flowers. Simple. And then we forget about it and we carry on with the rest of our day. And before you know it, you've got bare people bringing you flowers. You've got loads of flowers everywhere, and you're like, okay. And sometimes when we don't believe that we actually can pull in things and we can actually attract things, sometimes it is nice to start with something that is little. Start with something that isn't a huge, deep desire. And then you can see that actually, because it's a small desire, I'm not sabotaging it. I'm not putting out a vibration that believes, oh, I'm worthy of getting flowers, da 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 da. So we're not blocking it. And the more we start with little things and start to call in little things into our experience, and we see and we witness these things manifest in our lives, we can say, yo, this ish works. It does, because it's just physics, isn't it? Like, we don't, like, there's certain laws that are just there in it. There's certain laws that are there. And when we understand them, we have access to a different level of power. It's like electricity. Electricity isn't nothing new. It's always been there. But what wasn't there is understanding of it. And that's why we never had access to it. But as soon as the understanding comes, it's like a doorway's open now. You have access now because you understand it. You understand. And it's just potent. It's just a potent blessing that when your heart and soul is in this journey and you just want to grow and you just want to enjoy life and you know that life is here to be enjoyed. Like, there is a richness and a vastness. There is a dance that goes on within your body, whether you're conscious of it or not. And the moment we begin to tune into that rhythm of our own spirit, the rhythm of our ancestors, the rhythm of the land. All my life. These are the forces around us. There are such beautiful, beautiful forces around us. And the moment we start to tap into them, to feel them, yo, oh, it is such a blessing. Literally such a blessing, man. And literally, I'm so glad that I've come on here because, yeah, I was literally looking for something to watch that would just, yeah, create a little energy within me, and couldn't find it, so I created it. So yeah, I'm on the power of creation, and the creation with the intent to raise my vibration, to raise my frequency. I was just on the sofa Sunday, just like, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to feel this. I want to feel mentally stimulated. I want to feel stimulated in my heart. Yeah, man. Literally, right now, could not wish for anything more, you know. Couldn't wish for anything more. Like, my cup is filled. My cup is overflowing. I'm so grateful. So thank you for anyone that literally contributed to the conversation, that contributed to the space, that's energetically watching me and sending love. I feel you, man. I feel you, and thank you. Thank you. So blessed love, man. Blessed love.